Whether you want to admit it or not, it's pretty undeniable that X-Shot as a brand of blasters has established a remarkable popularity. You can easily just do a YouTube search on foam dart blaster or Nerf blaster, and you'll see that a lot of the X-Shot videos have a predominant amount of views over their other counterparts. And I have an upcoming video on that called the X-Shot Factor. But as we approach the end of the year, I thought it would be a good idea to do one of these ranking videos. You guys seemingly really liked it when I did the Rival AccuSeries one. I thought I'd probably shove in a couple of these. I might do a Dart Zone and a Hasbro proper one if time permits. X-Shot Insanity definitely left a good footprint in the blaster industry, and I thought it'd be cool just to do a chill laid back video where I go over all the blasters in the X-Shot Insanity series line, some of them which I reviewed last year, some of them which I'm going to review next year, and then just rank them on my personal preference. I'd totally like to hear your preference down in the comments. Without further ado, let's get right into it. X-Shot Insanity debuted in 2023. They initially had 3 blasters. They came out with their first motorized blaster towards the summer of that same year. That pretty much shocked the world because that would mark the first time officially that X-Shot came out with an electric blaster. They went quiet for almost the entire 2024, and then they came out with another electric blaster towards the end of 2024. Ranking these blasters, not necessarily from worst to first, that's just a fun phrase to use. There's no really worst blaster here. They're all pretty good in their own right. I think it's more proper to say my least favorite to my most favorite. Starting with number 5, we have the X-Shot Insanity Manic. This is one of the 3 launch blasters of this Insanity line. Almost every line, it's just a formality at this point that they have to have a pistol. Not only does a pistol offer a good entry-level price point into any given series, but it also offers overall an economical alternative to anybody who probably doesn't have the coin to dish right out the gate for something much bigger and just wants something simpler for the kids to play but still enjoy a lot of the characteristics of what Insanity has to offer. At first, the Manic looks like it's going to be some kind of revolving drum extra capacity blaster, but it's not. It's just a pullback single front load prime blaster, much like the Nerf Elite Fire Strike. The excessive amount of onboard storage is basically the key characteristic of what X-Shot Insanity is all about. It can throw a little bit of a deceiving impression at times, but this blaster is no different. You carry, 24 darts on board, but you just fire one at a time. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Although, like I said, this is not one of the ones I reviewed, and they got average ratings overall. Pricing between $6 and $10 depending on where you go. The Manic is the cheapest blaster on the list, but it's also on 5th place on my personal list. In 4th place, we have the X-Shot Insanity Mad Mega Barrel. This blaster is not a bad blaster per se. Performance is on par with your average big high capacity drummer pump action Springer blaster. The introduction of this alternate type of high capacity drum is one of those hate it or love it type of thing. I love it because it's something different, but at the same time, I don't think it's something practical that you could just play a CQB battle with. But then again, not a lot of people are going to be playing CQB with this. This is probably all out just family chaos, or even some kind of HVZ event where you just like sporting a lot of that onboard storage ammo and that's your style. The Mad Mega Barrel doesn't have anything particularly special about it in my opinion. It's just a cool alternate type of drum system on a pump action Springer blaster that otherwise does everything that the blasters with more compact drums having the same capacity can do. Also, the price was a little elevated for what it provides compared to those same blasters, but it wasn't a bad blaster. And of course, all these blasters do have pretty good performance for the most part. If you want a detailed video, I did review this blaster. Link will be over my left shoulder. Thumbnail, in case you've already saw the video and you can identify it by the thumbnail, is on my right shoulder. Mad Mega Barrel, 4th place on my list today, guys. 3rd place on my list is the X-Shot Insanity Motorized Rage Fire. This is another one that I did review as well. Very, very good blaster for X-Shot's first motorized blaster. It actually performs extremely good, especially when you use high performance batteries such as Energizer Lithium, and now we have the Power Owl Lithium Energy, which are remarkable batteries. I have a review on those batteries as well. You might want to check that out. The Motorized Rage Fire is an electric minigun blaster. We've seen them before. We've had them before. Dart Zone has one in every shape, color, and size you can imagine, and we love them. There's something special about miniguns that we just love in Nerf. It's one of those excessive firepower, OP kind of feelings that you get on the battlefield that you can't get with anything else. Now, X-Shot is not new to miniguns. In fact, if you ask me, my personal opinion, X-Shot is one of the best when it comes to the spring-loaded miniguns, if not the best. I think it's incredibly remarkable what they did with the Omega/Crusher series miniguns, the way that the mechanism rotates after every shot, slam fire. It's almost a seamless transition to the point that you can't tell it's battery operated when you have someone out in the field just cranking on that handle and you got just darts coming out of that barrel like crazy. The Motorized Rage Fire lived up to its expectations, in my opinion. It performed very well. Now, it did have one little downside that X-Shot never seemed to did correct. I have customers still till this day on that one video review that I did asking, why is my blaster not firing? The blaster had a very obscure location for its chain engagement locked right under the blaster. Even I missed it the first time, if we're being honest. It's not in an obvious location to find it. Also, the joint where you secure the blaster onto the turret has a little slot pin that is extremely difficult to remove, even with strong hands and good hand pressure. In some cases, you have to get tools to pry it open. There's no specifics in the manual guiding you through that process, and I think X-Shot could have done a better job. But those are just minor nuanced things that affects a minority of people. But at the same time, you want to cover all your bases, especially when you're doing something as big as putting your first electric blaster out in the market. I think X-Shot handled that well for their second electric blaster release, which we're going to talk about very soon. The Motorized Rage Fire, third place on my list. Number 2, the X-Shot Insanity Berzerko. This blaster got a spot on my top 10 best blaster deals of 2024. I think it went down as low as $8.99 at one point at Target, which is half of the launch price. I have a personal attachment to this blaster. I know you guys might be like, oh, that's last on my list, or maybe fourth. It's okay. I really liked it because it was bolt action, and it was the first time I saw an 8-round cylinder from X-Shot, and I really, really liked it. I just like this new kind of blue in general. It's so different from their prior kind of blues. It's more like a Caribbean kind of blue, and it also has this translucent orange drum. Believe it or not, I was never even fond of huge amounts of onboard storage, even though that's the main thing that Insanity stands for, so go figure. I just like the style of it. I like the ergonomics of it. It reminded me a lot of another blaster that they make for their Chaos Ball Blaster series. I forgot what the name is right away. Meteor. The Meteor was a blaster that I really took a liking to. This just reminded me of the dart blasting version of it. It shot very, very well. It has a very accessible price point, has an 8-round capacity, which is just perfect enough to send a pretty decent volley of darts downrange, and then when you're done, you just reach for your many darts on board and refill and repeat. So for reasons that I personally can't explain, it's as high as number 2 on my list. I'd like to know where it sits on your list. This is also one of the other blasters that I reviewed. Link, thumbnail. Oh yeah, and you know I'm loving that Ranger X8 from the XL series. It's basically the sniper rifle version of this. If I end up doing an XL series overview and top picks, you'll definitely see that blaster on there, but the X-Shot Insanity Berzerko, guys. Of course, there was only one left. If you've been following the series closely, you know what was gonna be next. This is the only blaster that came out in 2024 for the Insanity line, and it's their second electric blaster. I haven't reviewed this yet. It was my number 1 out of the top 10 non-pro Nerf blaster deals for 2024. This blaster is essentially X-Shot's first Strife, and it's a smash hit right from the get-go. I highlighted this in that top 10 video, but because it is an Insanity blaster and because it's motorized and it's mag-fed, instead of excessive amounts of onboard storage, you instead get just 1 onboard storage and you get 3 mags. This is why I think this is particularly cool, because in this scenario, you actually get mags, not just loose darts sitting on your blaster, but actual mags, and you get 3 total. And it's also cool that you can carry the mags on board. So essentially, you basically have your 1-man battalion all on 1 blaster. I will emphasize a little bit more on the details and features of this blaster. After playing around with it enough, I can't overstate how much I like it and how much I hope X-Shot continues to make these kind of Striphoid blasters. I really hope to see one in their XL line, eventually part of their zombie horror fire line. That would be pretty awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I am planning on doing one maybe for the Nerf N series and potentially other lines. Make a comment down below if there's a particular line you would like to see me do an overview and top picks just like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope to catch you on the next video. Stay blasting, foam fam.